What's up, guys? The first anniversary just dropped today, and we have a new limited battle tower that lasts 51 days, so you do have a lot of time to clear this. And the main thing about this tower are the rewards, of course. I've already up right now. You can only clear up to B50, and I've already cleared that. Tomorrow we will have access to B51 and I believe B52. I forgot if it's 1 or 2 floors released per day, but we'll get some access to more floors throughout the anniversary. But for now, only 50, and after you do clear 50, you'll get 130 medals, and with those medals, let me show you. You can go to exchange, medal exchange, ultimate medals. So you'll get, at least for the first day of the anniversary, you'll have up to 130 medals, and with those you can exchange for the new ultimate weapons. And you can only choose one for now because they each cost 100 medals and you only have 130. So I just wanted to go over a tier list of the ultimate weapons to help you decide which ones you might want to choose, because it doesn't look like we'll be able to get all of them, at least not right away. So I mean, at least for the first day we can only get one, and we don't know how many more medals we'll get throughout this tower, but I'm guessing we'll get maybe enough for 2 or 3, and then I don't know how we can get more, but we'll probably be able to get them later. But yeah, we don't actually know. So right now it is going to be important that you choose a good one. So I'm going to go over the weapons, and then at the same time I'm going to right here put them through a tier list. So first, and this is a simple tier list. We just have S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier. First we're going to look at Cloud. Okay, so the first ultimate weapon we have is Cloud's Buster Sword. This does 1000 damage, which is not a lot, but most of these weapons are not, you're not really using them for the actual damage that the ability does. These weapons all have powerful abilities, ultimate abilities, and they also have powerful R abilities. So really, yeah, we're not really looking at the damage, at least not for this weapon, not for Cloud's weapon, but yeah, it does do 1000 damage to a single enemy, and it lowers physical attack high, as well as lowers magic attack high. It has one use, but that's not really important because they all just have one use, so one use per battle. So just looking at the ability here, I mean, the damage is not important. So you really want this if you care about lowering the enemy's physical attack and magic attack. And I would say this is a pretty bad ability, lowering physical attack and magic attack. I mean, it's good normally. On a normal weapon, it would be good, but on an ultimate weapon, I don't think it's that good, because if you really care about lowering an enemy's physical attack and or magic attack, you should probably have an actual weapon that you can spam, that you can cast more than once. It's very rare that there is a fight where you only need to decrease the enemy's physical attack or magic attack just one time. So that's why you want a dedicated weapon for that. And if you have a dedicated weapon for decreasing physical attack and magic attack, then you don't really need to do it using an ultimate ability, right? Because if you have a dedicated one, like, you'll usually use maybe like a debuffer that has the ability to decrease an enemy's attack. they usually have it covered. It's usually not a problem to keep an enemy's physical and magic attack down when you have a dedicated weapon. So I would say for Cloud's ultimate ability, it is quite bad. One of the worst, I would say. Looking at the R abilities, though, they are pretty good, especially if you're using Cloud as a DPS, and Cloud is usually he's mainly a DPS, so these are great R abilities for him. You have boost ability potency and boost physical defense, 20 points in each. 20 points is pretty decent. That's giving you 15% extra ability potency, and also 30% extra physical defense. Great for physical defensive fights, and great for any time you want to do damage. So yeah, this is kind of a weird weapon where it has a good ultimate ability, but a bad ultimate ability, but good R abilities. I'm gonna place them on the tier list, but I might move them because I'm doing this live, so I don't actually know where they belong. But not S, not A. I'm gonna put. I don't think I need this many tiers actually, so maybe there won't be any D tiers. I'll put it in B or C. I'm gonna put it in C because it's really here just for R abilities. Then yeah. Okay. Next, we have Barret's ultimate Gatling gun. This does physical defense increased by high for all allies. I don't really like this one because Barret does have a he has his assault gun, which essentially just does the same thing as this. So the only reason this might be good is if there's a fight where you only need to increase your physical defense once. Like, you only need to defend against one big physical attack. And, just like Cloud, lowering physical attack and magic attack once per fight usually is not enough. So same with Barret. Like, most fights, if you care about your physical defense, you need to increase it more than just once. So if you're using Barret, you might as well just use his assault gun. You might as well just use his assault gun, and then his ultimate doesn't really add anything extra to that. One possibility though is so let me show you a Barret build where you might actually get some value out of this though. It does have a little better use than Cloud, I would say, because you could build Barret as your main, as like a physical defense tank. You would use his guild weapon here, and then something else. Like it basically, you don't use assault gun. So if you don't use assault gun, maybe something like this. So if you're against if you need high physical defense with Barret, you can main hand his guild weapon, which gives boost physical defense to all allies. So this is kind of like boosting your physical defense up. And then you can have electro cannon, which decreases physical attack of enemies. And then here in his ultimate weapon slot, you can use that boost physical defense up once per fight. This is a strategy, but I think most of the time, if you really care about physical defense, you do want to just have Barret. You do just want to have Barret using assault gun. Assault gun is going to give physical defense mid, or if you have it at OB6, it's going to give high. It's basically going to give the same thing as his ultimate ability, which makes his ultimate ability kind of unnecessary, unless you're doing the build that I said, right? With the rocket punch and something else. Yeah, so I do like his. I don't really like his ability, but it is better than Cloud's for that reason. Let me go back. Yeah, so it's better than Cloud's ability, but still not that good. Our abilities are pretty perfect for Barret. Barret usually just well, yeah. It's boosting physical defense, and if you care about physical defense, right, that's why you would use this ability. So this is really good against physical physical bosses. It does feel a bit overkill on Barret though. Like Barret is usually the tankiest already, so he's really just never gonna die. Your other two party members might die, but yeah, I mean they are good all their abilities, and the ultimate ability does have some uses. So going back to the tier list, Barret, I think I like it better than Cloud just because his ability does have some use. And there's a lot of synergy with his ability and his R abilities. So, yeah. Slightly better than Cloud, but I still don't really like it. Moving on to Tifa. Her ultimate leather gloves. Also does 1000 damage, which again, we don't care about that much. Tifa's ultimate leather gloves increases physical attack and magic attack to all allies, but only by mid potency. I'm looking at this, I don't really like it, but it is quite unique. So I'm trying to think of a situation where you would want this. Okay, yeah, you would want this if Tifa is a healer, because if Tifa is a healer, this is actually this is amazing actually. So because Tifa as a healer does not really have access to increase her DPS's physical attack or magic attack. She does have one free weapon that boosts physical attack to low potency, but that's not really that good. So this is amazing for healer Tifa, and debuffing Tifa. Sorry, I did forget about that. I don't really use Tifa as a debuffer anymore, but yeah, this is really good for healing and debuffing Tifa. For DPS Tifa, this is not that good, because Tifa has her Amaranth's Claws to boost her own physical attack, if you care about that, and also there's like Aerith with Kimura one that can boost Tifa's physical attack. There's like Yuffie with her Arctic Star that can boost physical attack. So there's a lot of ways to boost physical attack if you're using Tifa as a physical DPS. Matt with his Bramble as well. There's a lot of good options to boost physical attack. If you're using Tifa as a magic DPS, then this is also not that good, because most of Tifa's gloves, actually two out of 3 of her DPS gloves boost magic attack. So I think only her fire gloves don't boost her magic attack. So a lot of times she doesn't need magic attack. So but as I say that, there are some situations where it is nice for Tifa to bring her own P attack up, or it might be nice for Tifa to bring her own magic attack up. So this one does have a lot of uses actually, now that I talk about it, right? So as a debuffer and a healer, this is great. As a DPS, this can be useful. And then looking at the R abilities, she has boost ability potency, which is only useful if she's the DPS, and boost magic defense, which just like any defensive R ability, I value highly. But of course, this is only useful against magic damage bosses. So looking at that, I didn't like it at first, but going back to the tier list, I do like her better than Barret. So I mean, I guess they just get better and better. Clouds seemed really useless to me. Barret seemed like it could have some uses, and then Tifa actually has more uses than that. So far, at least for now, I might move them, but the tier list is looking like this. Next we have Aerith's Ultimate Guard Stick, and this one is my favorite. I believe it's my favorite, or one of my favorites. So let's see what it does. This one has a 50% heal to all allies, which is pretty good. I mean, that's like using a cure-all materia, basically. So it's a pretty good heal. It applies regen, but only for 3 seconds, so not really. It's just going to heal very little. And it removes physical attack down, magic attack down from all allies. This is situational, like it could be helpful or it could just do nothing. But overall, just having treating this as a heal is already pretty good for Aerith. Sometimes you just need to, like, sometimes her own healing is just not enough. You need like another heal, but you know, healing already, most healing weapons cost 5 ATB, so this is basically saving her 5 ATB, and it's on demand. You can use it anytime. So quite good with that. And if you ever do have your DPS debuffed, their attack debuffed, then you know this is extra value as well. But really what makes this weapon great also is, I would say, the R abilities. You're getting 20 points in boost heal. 20 points is a lot, especially because if you look at Aerith's healing, basically I'm thinking about Kimura, but not just Kimura. Actually, let me show you Aerith. So why is 20 heal points a lot? Let's look at some Aerith builds. Let's look at some Aerith builds. So if you want to use Aerith as a healer, which I often do, okay, her best costume is Kimura dress, which gives 10 heal, which is great. But she also has like okay costumes like floral gown, but floral gown gives no heal points. So if you want to use floral gown, she's going to be lacking in heal points. But let's look at Kimura dress just because that is her meta healing outfit so far. And then with Kimura dress, you know, I'm gonna show you Kimura wand. I know not all of you have these, but we'll give her Kimura wand, okay? And the problem with Kimura wand is the R abilities are very good, but no healing. So she's getting boost HP, and she's getting buff debuff extension, right? And then when you use Kimura wand, you want to use if you want her to AoE heal, you want to give her a Cura materia here, so she can AoE heal. So then her second weapon is very flexible, like you can give her anything. But the problem with giving her things, like let's say you want to give her like Sun Umbrella. Sun Umbrella does not have heal R abilities either. So looking at Aerith right now with just her main build, she only has 10 heal points from her costume, and only if you do have this costume. You might not even have this costume. Maybe you have no costume. Okay, so then she has just no heal. Her heal is very weak with her base build. I mean, obviously you can fix it with sub weapons, right? But this is the main weakness of Aerith like this. And even if you don't have Kimura wand, okay, let's go with her very original healer build, Fairy Tail. My Fairy Tail is OB8, which is pretty strong. But Fairy Tail, it doesn't have that much heal points either, and I'm main-handing it. You're only getting 26, or you know, if you get OB10, you get like 30, which is still not even. It's still not even that good. So really what I'm trying to say is Aerith is lacking in heal R ability points, which is why her weapon, her ultimate weapon, is just amazing for the R ability. The R ability is just so good on her because she lacks that, unless you have really good healing sub weapons. Okay, so yeah, and then the other R ability is good too, right? It looks like all the ultimate weapons, at least so far, are giving at least one stat in defense, some kind of defense. Barret has 2 stats in defense, but yeah, Aerith has 1. She's getting magic defense and 20 points, which is a lot. She'll never need to build almost never need to build magic defense with this. So that what that also means is if you're against the magic attack boss, you can give her more healing sub weapons, and you don't need to waste any sub weapons to boost her magic defense, which is nice. But mainly I like this because of the R ability, and then even the ultimate ability is good as well. So going to the tier list again, Aerith, I'm gonna put it in S tier. So I guess, yeah, we are just getting better and better. Clouds was the worst, Barret got a little better, Tifa is even better, and then Aerith is amazing. Next we go to Red 13's ultimate weapon, Ultimate Leather Collar. This does okay AoE heal, 27% healing potency to all allies, but it also gives regen to all allies for 12 seconds. And I don't know how much this heals exactly, but I think maybe, I saw somewhere that this is about maybe 50% healing potency. So 50, if you add them together, 50 plus 27, 77% healing to all allies. That's stronger than Aerith's ability. But it doesn't do anything else, so it's just a big heal. But that is nice for healer red. But even if you're not using red as a healer, you can look at the R abilities. Red is getting boost heal 20 points, so just like Aerith, this is amazing for red 13, because if you don't use red as a healer, which red is an okay healer, but he's often not built to be a healer. So even if you don't build him to be a healer, he will at least have these 20 heal points to make his ultimate heal a good amount. So if you're using red as a healer, this is perfect, right? But what I'm trying to say is, even if you're not using red as a healer, this is still going to be useful, just because they're giving you 20 points in heal. And other than that, he is getting another defensive stat, which is boost physical defense. So for red as a healer, this is just as good as Aerith, I would say. Yeah, I would say so. But also because this helps red as, even if he's not a healer, I really like this weapon, so I'm going to put this in the S tier as well, just because of what this allows red to do. It allows red to be a healer, a better healer, and it also allows him to heal even when he is not playing the healer role. Okay, moving on. Next we have Yuffie's ultimate weapon, ultimate 4-point Shuriken. And this also does 1,000 damage, which we don't really care about. But it also increases physical attack and magic attack. But this is only to herself. Only to herself. Yeah, let me think. I think this is good. Yeah, it's probably going to be A tier here. I think this is good because, well, this is only good if you're using Yuffie to do damage. But Yuffie is almost always doing damage, right? That's her role in the game. She is either going to be your main DPS or she's going to be your sub DPS. She's not like a healer. She's not a. Well, actually, she can be a buff debuffer, but there's usually better options for that. So most of the time, Yuffie is going to be your DPS of some sort. So this is good. I mean, this is good. I say it's good because Yuffie has two weapons. She has a weapon that boosts physical attack, and she has a weapon that boosts magic attack, and she also has a limit break that boosts physical and magic attack. So they're kind of overlapping here. Like if you can slot in that weapon, then you don't really need this ultimate weapon. So because of that reason, this isn't necessary. But having this ultimate weapon does allow you to build her, save her ATB, right? She doesn't need to buff herself, and also clears up that weapon slot. Like maybe she can use a different weapon because you have this ultimate weapon. Of course, this ultimate ability only lasts 30 seconds. I mean, 30 seconds is decent, but if you're in a long fight, you might want more. You might need longer than 30 seconds. Then you would use a regular weapon to boost her physical or magic attack anyways. So then just like some other ultimate abilities, this is not really necessary if you already have a weapon for it. So yeah, it's good, but not, I think it's similar to like Tifa's actually. So this is probably going into A tier. Like it's good, but not amazing, and sometimes it's not going to do much for you actually. So but with R abilities, it's good. She has boost ability potency. This is great for DPS characters, and right, Yuffie is like I said, she is a DPS character, so this is perfect. And she's got a defensive R ability, just like every other. It looks like all the ultimate weapons, they have a defensive one, so not much to say about that anymore. So yeah. Yuffie will go with Tifa, and they both do similar things actually. So yeah, I think hard to say which one's better. I'm just gonna leave them together here. Next we have Cait Sith. Cait Sith's ultimate yellow megaphone, and this one I do really like. So this one increases limit gauge potency by 30% of a single ally. So limit gauge, sorry, wait, oh, did I read it wrong? Oh, I actually went very it. Let me compare that to Vincent. I know Vincent has something too. Oh, okay, it is similar to Vincent. I thought it was something else. But now, okay, no. Increases the limit gauge of an ally by 30%. So you can increase an ally's limit gauge. That is a very, very unique ability. It's the first of its kind that we've seen. Or, well, not the first. There are, what? Mainly Vincent, I believe. Vincent is the character that introduced this mechanic to the game, where some of his, or many of his abilities also increases his own limit gauge. But this is the first that will increase the limit gauge of an ally. Like Vincent could only increase his own limit gauge, but Cait Sith can increase an ally's, and by 30%, which is pretty good depending on the limit, like especially if you're using like a summon or something, especially like if you use Bahamut. Bahamut has a really large charge time, so if you can use this to maybe get a cast of that in some fights, that makes this very, very useful and very, very unique. There's no other ability in the game that does this. And other than that, it does a small heal, which you don't really care about. The R abilities are also a very good buff debuff extension for Cait Sith. 20 points. I mean, not much to say about it. Cait Sith is mainly a buff debuffer. He's that's his main use, and even in his DPS builds, he sometimes uses buffs and debuffs. Actually, like 2 of his limit breaks are buffs and debuffs. So this is great for Cait Sith in almost every build. Yeah, almost every build. I would say 90% of his builds would benefit from this. And the defensive R ability, of course. So I only have good things to say about this. It is amazing, I think. So I'm going to put this into the S tier. Okay. Put it in S tier. I kind of like him more than, I think he's the best of the S tier. Well, if we're only ranking by abilities alone, I think Cait Sith is the best. But Cait Sith as a character, I don't think is that good. So, but I think I'm just gonna rank them based on the ultimate weapons. Okay, so moving on, we have Vincent next, which does have something similar. Well, it does 1,000 damage again, which we don't really care about. But it also increases limit gauge by 40%. So even more than Cait Sith, but Vincent's ultimate ability, he can only target himself, which is not really a problem because Vincent has a lot of good limit breaks, and Vincent's limit breaks have a long charge time. So giving 40% to himself is amazing for him. Now this is going to make Vincent a monster DPS, honestly. But I mean, he's already very good at DPSing, but this is just going to make him very, very good at that. Our abilities are, again, perfect for him. Vincent is mainly, yeah, Vincent is not a healer, and he's not, he can he can debuff enemies, but really Vincent is a DPS character right now, or a sub-DPS character, so boost ability potency, perfect for him. Defensive R ability, standard for ultimate weapons. This is going into S tier just because it makes it always makes it makes every Vincent build just that much better. So yeah, there's no situation where you wouldn't want this. So yeah, Vincent, where is S tier? I think I'll put him above healers as well. I think I really like the uniqueness of increasing the limit gauge with Cait and Vincent. The healers, it just lets them do their job better, but it is very good as well. You know, it makes them amazing healers, so they're still S tier. Yeah. Okay, and then next we have Zack's ultimate weapon, ultimate type 99 longsword. Zack does 1000 damage. Again, this doesn't really matter. This is a single enemy. It will decrease their physical defense and magic defense. I'm trying to think. I don't really like this. First of all, I mean, it can be okay. I'm trying to think though. Yeah, first of all, Zack already has weapons. He has several weapons of his own that decrease physical defense. So if you're using Zack to do physical damage, you can just give him his own weapon. But oh wait, no, I do like this weapon, but actually no, I don't. I still don't really. Yeah, the problem is Zack can do these on his own with his regular weapons. So if we go back to the tier list, you'll notice the trend, which is the A tier, the B tier, the C tier. You know, their ultimate weapons. They all do buffs and debuffs that can already be done by their own weapons or someone else's own weapons, right? So it doesn't really add much to your toolkit. But the S tier, limit breaks are very unique, and healing just becomes better healing. But if we look at like physical defense down high, it's not like extra high or anything. It doesn't reduce the enemy's physical defense, even more. So it doesn't really help you, other than of course the duration, right? It does make the duration longer. But that's about it. So I don't really value it that highly here. But it is okay because it does save Zack a weapon slot, right? Or if you want to use healer Zack, healer Zack is not bad, and healer Zack will use Twinkling Star, so that physical defense is covered. But healer Zack might not want to bring a weapon to decrease magic defense, so this does have some use. It is okay. Our abilities, boost ability potency, that's fine if you're using. I mean, Zack is a DPS, which Zack is mainly a DPS, and he has a defensive slot. I'm not sure where I want to place this. It's not S tier. Let me see. I don't even think it's A tier. I put it B actually. Better than Barret too. Actually, yeah, it's similar to Barret, but better. It does do 2 different debuffs, which could save you even more weapon slots. Actually, wait, it is close to A. Actually, let me think. Yeah, actually, no, it is similar to A. So, in A is like the weapons are covered and they're not necessary, but it could save you slots, and yeah. So yeah, he is an A tier. Yeah, he is an A tier. Okay, moving on, we have Sephiroth's ultimate Nameless, and this is the first ultimate weapon, free ultimate weapon that you are using it for its damage, because it only does damage. So Sephiroth's ultimate Nameless does 1500 damage, but if the enemy is debuffed, which most enemies will be debuffed, this will do 3000 damage, which is basically a limit break. So this is just like another not free, but it's a damaging limit break. One damaging limit break, which is good because most of the time when you use Sephiroth, you're using Sephiroth as your DPS, so this is just more DPS. Can't go wrong with that. For our abilities, it has boost ability potency, which, like I said before, this is perfect for any DPS. Right? This is always going to increase their damage, and it has a defensive R ability. So for the tier list, I think this also goes into the S tier, just because I don't think it's as interesting as these limit break, increasing the limit gauge, but it works perfectly for Sephiroth, and there's no overlap. There's no weapon or anything that can replace what this weapon is providing. So it's just a pure power boost to Sephiroth in almost every situation. So yeah, I do like that. One reason you might not care about this is there is a gotcha Sephiroth ultimate weapon that you can pull. So I mean, if you pull that, obviously you don't need this at all. But this tier list, I'm not really taking that into consideration. I'm just comparing the free ultimate weapons. Okay, next we have Glenn's ultimate personal style, and this one increases magic defense to all allies. Now, that is quite unique. Glenn only has one weapon that can boost magic defense to all allies, and it only goes up to mid at OB6. It's Hardcore Squad, his Hardcore Squad, which has terrible R abilities and a terrible duration. It only lasts 12 seconds. So I do like this more than Barret's weapon. Barret's weapon basically does the same thing as his own weapon, but this is better than Glenn's own weapon, so I do like it better, but I don't think it's it has its uses. Even if you're using, there's a lot of fights where enemies lower your magic defense, so even if you're using, let's say, a healer, often your healer will boost your team's magic defense. You might want a secondary source of magic defense up, which is where this ability can come into play. But the problem with this ability is it's very, very niche. Like, there's going to be a lot of fights where you don't care about this ultimate ability, and that's pretty bad if you're gonna invest in an ultimate weapon and you have an ability that is only useful in like maybe 50%, or even I would say maybe only 30% of fights you care about this. So it's niche. That's why I don't like it. But it does have a good accompanying R ability, right? So boost magic defense when you're against a magic boss. That's nice. That synergy is nice, and boost HP to make you tanky. So it's good. I actually think maybe there's too many S tier weapons, so I don't think it's that good. But I would say this is maybe an A tier weapon here. Actually, I think it's the top of A tier, just because. No, hold on. Is it? It's hard to say. It's hard. It is very hard to say. I'm just gonna put it in A tier. I can't really decide, so I'm just gonna leave it there and leave it at that. Okay. And then next we have Matt's ultimate Broadsword Axis. This is an AoE heal for 25%. So this is the weakest heal of all the healers, right? Aerith's ultimate ability heals 50%. Red's heals, if you include the regen, like 75%. Matt only heals 25. That's but it's still meaningful. Like, it still can help you in fights. You also get a small regen, which don't really care about. And then it also removes physical defense down, which I'm gonna say is useless most of the time, because the main reason you use Matt as a healer is his centipede or even his syringed rapier, which both of those weapons increase physical defense. So removing physical defense down is usually not going to be an issue. And Matt also has a limit break that increases your team's physical defense. So Matt has 3 different ways to increase the entire party's physical defense, that removing physical defense down is not that useful. It is useful. There are some fights where actually it is useful, but not many. So I don't value this too much. It's not useless, but it's not great. And just like the other healing ultimate weapons, Matt does get boost heal, and just like the other ultimate weapons, he does get a defensive R ability, which does not complement him, because this is magic defense, but this is physical defense. But that's not a big deal. But what I want to talk about is his heal. So this 20 points in heal is really good on Aerith and Red 13, but it's not that good on Matt, because if we look at Matt, let me see if I have a build for him. I was using it. If we look at Matt, right, basically this is the reason why it doesn't matter. So Matt's best healing weapon is Centipede, because look right here, it gives him, at least at OB2, it gives him 50 heal points. At max, it gives him up to 62 heal points, all in just one weapon. So that basically means Matt is not really, like before I was talking about Aerith. Aerith doesn't really have many ways to boost her heal R ability, but Matt does not have that problem at all, and Matt is going to main hand this. So main handing this, he already gets huge amounts of healing potency. So I don't value Matt's the healing R ability on Matt's ultimate weapon. Where is it? As much. I mean, it's still good. Don't get me wrong. It's still good, but it's not that good. So looking at this, I don't know. I think he might still be an S. This might still be an S tier weapon. Actually, yeah, it is. It is still an S tier weapon. So, okay, we said Centipede gives him 60 heal points, right? Up to 60. So he's gonna have level 7 heal potency. Then if you give him this weapon, it'll give him, 75, which basically maxes. I mean, level 8 is really the max you need. You don't really need level 9, because level 8 to level 9 only increases your heal potency by 5%. So, basically, if you give Matt this ultimate weapon and you give him Centipede, he already basically maxes out his heal potency, which means you can give him other sub-weapons like boost physical attack all to your team, or buff debuff duration, things like that, or defense. You can increase his defense. So yeah, this is still an S tier weapon, but I think it is the worst healing one. So oh yeah, it perfectly fits there. So at the end, right there. And then we have Lucia. So let's talk about her, and then I'll summarize the tier list. Here's Lucia's ultimate V39, and her V39 physical attack is increased high, magic attack increased high. This is for only a single ally though, so she can only choose one character to increase their physical and magic attack. This is not bad. Not good, not bad. I think it's going to go into the A tier. So it's not good and not bad. Because, well, first, I think this works well with Lucia as a character, because Lucia does not have any boost physical attack, magic attack weapons. So this is one way to give it to her. And Lucia is mainly a debuffer / sub DPS. So she doesn't have too many buffs. One thing though is she does have a way to increase physical and magic attack with her limit break, but the duration is quite low, so her limit break alone is not enough. So I think if you do combine her limit break with her ultimate ability, then that might actually be enough to last you most of the fight. So that actually does make this quite good with Lucia. And then looking at the R abilities, actually, now that I look at this, I think this might be an S tier one. She has buff debuff extension, which is perfect for her, right? I said she has a lot of debuffs, and obviously this is a buff, right? So the buff debuff extension is going to affect her boost volley, and then a defensive R ability as standard. Yeah, I do think this is an S tier one. I'll just leave her there actually. So I guess I didn't need a D tier. So now to summarize the tier list, we have there are actually a lot of S tiers, which is great. So is this like more than half of the ultimate weapons are very good. You have Cait, Sith, and Vincent to increase the limit gauge, which is very unique for this game. You have Sephiroth, which just is pure damage, giving him even higher DPS. you have the 3 healers, which just makes them heal better. Or in the case of Aerith and Red, you can use Aerith and Red as a DPS that can also do like 1 clutch heal, or to support your main healer. You have Lucia, which allows her to buff her team. I mean, even better. Like, she could do it before with her limit break, but with her ultimate weapon, it just makes it really, really good. And then it's also going to help her debuff as well, because it has a debuff debuff extension for her in the R abilities. In the A tier, you have Glenn, Tifa, Yuffie, Zack. Their ultimate abilities can be useful, but not always. So it's it's hard to really value them. In the B tier, you have Barret. His ultimate ability is basically it's most of the time unnecessary. You can just use his assault gun. And then I guess I don't really want it. I'll just have 3 tiers. And then Clouds is actually Cloud is more unique than Barret, so I guess I might as well. Yeah. Clouds is decreasing physical and magic attack. I can't really think of a fight where you would need that, but there may be, and if there is a fight that needs that, then that would be very cool. But yeah, Cloud and Barret's are really, I can't really think of fights where you would want their ultimate abilities. So yeah, that's the tier list for the new free ultimate weapons. Let me know which one you're thinking of grabbing, because right now we can only grab 1. You might not need to even grab 1. So my strategy is just to hold my medals until I decide which one I want. I am leaning towards Aerith just because Aerith is my favorite character, and I might pull on the banner for Sephiroth. So if you pull on the Sephiroth ultimate banner weapon, then that's just better than his free one. So don't really need Sephiroth. I don't really use Lucia, and Matt is already really good at healing. I don't need him to be better, I would say. Red is quite good, but I don't really use Red as a healer. But actually, Red is very good. Especially with his ultimate weapon, he would be a great healer, actually. So, my top choices would be Aerith or Red. But it's only because I don't use Lucia, I don't use Vincent, and I don't use Cait Sith. So but those 3 are also very good as well. It's just personally I don't use them. But yeah, yeah, that's the tier list. Let me know which ones you're thinking of getting, and thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.